Today, you will meet someone that is not only young, but also drives an 11-ton machine. Today's guest will take us through an average day of a bus driver and tell us some procedures they need to do before the kids are even on the bus. And tell us some interesting things that we did not see when we were kids on a bus.
Hi, I'm Leroy. Now, we all remember being kids and taking a bus to school, but what we don't know is how hard and interesting it can be to be a bus driver and drive a school bus or 11-ton machine. I would like you guys to meet our guest today, David Brenner.
Good morning, Leroy.
Hey, nice to meet you, man. So, David, I was wondering, what inspired you to being a bus driver?
First, I was looking to obtain a driver's license for trucking, and the school bus companies provide training. But secondly, I enjoy working with children, and it's been a good experience so far.
Okay. So was it difficult to drive a bus for the first time?
It definitely was. It took about a month to really get used to the dimension and size of the bus, also the weight. But now after 6 months of driving, I'm very comfortable. It's actually easier to park than my car.
Okay. Well, now in this coming clip, you're going to show us some tools you need to use for procedures when driving a bus.
This here is called a Zonar device. It's used to check the vehicle before you drive it, thoroughly inspect that it's safe to drive mechanically and that all the lights are functioning. It's an electronic version of this checklist, which is an official Department of Transportation checklist for all school buses. It's also used in between runs as a child check. It has the driver walk through the bus and make sure that there's no children on the bus. And then when the run is over, when you park the bus, you also go around and check for visual damage and make sure again that there's no children on the bus.
Okay. So why do you need to wear the orange vest?
The orange vest improves visibility of the driver, and also in the bus yard where the buses are parked, they're all very tall.
Okay.
So it's very hard to see a person walking in between them.
Okay.
It helps prevent accidents.
Okay. So how many children do you usually carry on a bus?
Between about 20 and 50 children at a time.
Okay. So in the next clip, you're going to explain how a pre-inspection worker works.
Now I'll show you the pre-inspection of the vehicle.
That's good.
Again, it starts with the Zonar. It's scanning, knowing that we're using this bus. You enter the start mileage. Then it's asking if the fire extinguisher is there and that the first aid kit is here and the body fluid kit is also here with all the required items, and also that your registration and accident report is in here. Those are all the required items that you really need. Next, it's asking, does all the horns, the lights, is the brake and steering working? So the way we test that is first without the bus being on, I press on the brake, and that sound is the backup pump. It's an electronic pump that can operate the brakes fully without the bus being on in case an emergency, you lose engine power. Then turn the key, makes more noise, the gauges come up, and then they stabilize. And you see the only light that's on right now is the brake light, because the parking brake's on. And then you fire up the bus. Take a while. And you check your gauges, oil pressure, water, temperature, transmission. None of them are too high, too low. The fuel is low. And then I check that my left turn signal is working, right turn signal, hazard lights, headlights, low beams, high beams. And there's a whole other set of buttons and switches over here, another instrument panel. You start from left to right. First thing is the mirror heater, which is working. I check the driver's fan, the passenger fan. Now there's two heaters in the bus. There's one in the rear and one up front to the side. Checking the fan defrosters for the windshield, interior lighting, windshield wipers. And now the most important button is called the master switch. It activates first your amber lights, which are orange, and that lets cars know that you're going to stop and pick up children. And then when you open the door is when it activates the red lights, called the SOS lights. At first place I start on the outside of the bus is the right front wheel.
Takes a long time.
Checking that my mirrors here
Not when I have to explain
are
it though.
secure, and the hood latch is secure. Most important thing is the lug nuts. Supposed to make sure that they're all tight. And the center here is called the oil hub. There's oil that keeps the wheel greased. If that's leaking, then that's a problem. Next I kick the tire, make sure it feels solid, not flat. Checking the side of the wheel to make sure there's no rips or tears. And the last thing is that the tire tread is at least 30 seconds in the front. Next, just touching everything, all the mirrors, make sure they're secure, make sure my lights are on. As you see, the gate is already out. And the gate's out because the SOS lights are on, the red ones, to let people know to stop. The lights are working. The bumper is secure, everything here is tight. Do the same thing on this side. Check this wheel just the same as I would the other. Make sure the stop arm is out and blinking. Open the battery box and just make sure it's not moving. They have had batteries fly out of the buses that aren't secure, and then they shut off. So making sure the windows are not cracked or broken. My clip lights or clearance lights at the very top of the bus are all on. There's 3 on each side. Again, in the rear, checking for tire damage, rips or tears, that there is enough tread, the lug nuts are tight, and also that the valve stems, the air caps are tight. It's hard to see, but in there's leaf springs. It's part of the suspension. I don't know if you can see it. Just supposed to check and make sure that they haven't cracked or loosened up. On the back of the bus, again, we're checking. Before we checked the amber lights, now we're checking for the red ones. Again, I open the door and make sure that it clicks into place. Because in an emergency, you don't want to worry about the door closing on people as they're trying to escape the bus. And close it again. Make sure my lights are on in the back. The bumper is secure, not going anywhere. The license plate is secure. And that's it.
What safety precautions do you do while driving?
First of all, I drive defensively, always looking ahead, making sure there's no obstacles in my path. If there are, always strategize how to go around them.
Okay. So how do you deal with controlling kids on the bus?
Sometimes I have to raise my voice, but for the most part, they understand the ground rules. And if anyone was to get really out of hand or start a fight, then I just report them to the bus company and the school,
Okay.
and they take care of it.
Okay. Now for the last clip that's coming up, you're going to explain the procedures for dropping kids off and picking kids up.
All right. Stop. I first identify where the kids are standing. And then 100 feet before, the amber lights go on,
Okay.
the orange ones, to let other cars know I'm slowing down.
Okay.
As I'm doing that, I'm checking the mirrors, making sure the road is open. There's no obstacles in the way. Now I unlatch the door, which turns on the red lights, checking my mirrors again to make sure it's safe. I secure the bus by taking it out of gear and putting on the parking brake.
Okay.
At which point now I can tell the children to either cross the street or, load the bus.
Okay.
Open the door, and I'm going to count the children as they come on the bus, make sure they all get on. I don't close the door all the way because I'm waiting for the children to seat themselves.
Okay.
Once they're seated, I'll unsecure the bus, put it back into gear while the SOS lights are still on so that no cars try and pass the bus.
Okay.
And after I check the mirrors, it's safe to proceed.
Okay. 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 So finally, do you enjoy your job?
I definitely do. It's been a good experience so far. I enjoy working with the children and delivering them safely to and from school. It's a very important job.
Well, today we got to meet a young bus driver who's not only enjoy his job, but handles an 11-ton machine perfectly. We would like to thank our guest, David Brenner, for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Leroy. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, nice meeting you. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Thank you and good day.